Welcome back, y'all, Fowler and friends. I'm gonna start off by issuing an apology. I should have got this video up probably 2 days ago. Give you guys time to see it and adjust your picks. No excuses, lost track of time. Totally my fault. Just getting out fishing on the new Hobie all weekend and put some miles on it, wore myself out, and totally spaced this episode. So I'm still putting it together. Maybe you guys can watch it and get a few insights before the tournament tomorrow morning at 7:45 a.m. Eastern time. Lake Norman, stop 2 for the Major League Fishing and also the championship REDCREST. I gotta tell you, this one's gonna be a tough one. The weather patterns are extremely up and down. They're coming off warm temps, warm rain, lots of precipitation, and this week it's gonna be cold and relevant to the warm weather they had. Not a lot of little tournaments or anything I could gain any pulse from on YouTube or written on the internet, so this one's going to be a tough one. We're going to start out 62 degrees tomorrow, overnight lows in the 40s, and towards the end of the tournament we're going to be down in a daytime high as 46, overnight lows in above freezing but 35-36 degrees. And with a cold front and changing weather, and they got precipitation on at least 2 of those days, 3 of those days, it's gonna be rough to say the least. You know, every time a front comes through, at least from my experience down here in Texas, you know, when they come through back to back to back, sometimes them fish will get lockjaw. They just, you know, it's really, whoever wins this tournament is gonna show they are the best for sure, because I have a strong feeling that we had some fish moving up shallow thinking about spawning with the warm temperatures, kind of get the pulse of that on the invitationals that was just down the road, and then this cold weather came in, a lot of rain, fluctuation of water level. It's really just gonna throw them out of whack and really confuse a lot of the fish, in my personal opinion. You know, so it's going to be interesting to see. I think, you know, a guy that puts together a good mixed pattern of onshore probably early in the tournament with a mix of offshore, you know, or another guy like Jacob Wheeler, Dustin Gonthal can find some of these bigger pods of fish that sit offshore, you know, staged, you know, that spawn a little later in the year because they spawn a little deeper in clear water and it takes a little bit longer for that water to move up. Maybe those fish aren't as affected because they've been in that more stable water column. So it'll be interesting to see what tactic plays. You know, nobody thought you'd be able to catch them on the bank in the mud in the Invitational, and didn't they prove that wrong in a hurry? So throwing a chatterbait and jig around docks and cables. So it'll be interesting to see how this one shakes out. This will be a shorter video so I can get this uploaded and get you on your way with my picks and why. So Group A, my first pick is Jordan Lee. He's had a good even keel to the start of the season. He knows how to catch them on these types of reservoirs, these highland reservoirs. So he's a good threat out there. Second pick, no surprise, Jacob Wheeler. He's proven time and time again he knows how to catch them. You know, he had a fairly good, I think, top 20 finish there at the Invitationals as well. So, and to be honest with you, you know, they take every tournament seriously, but I think when these full-time pros jump down a level and fish those, I think they relax a little bit They try a lot of different things like that they may not have the time or the pressure to try when they're in their professional tournaments on the BPT. So I think that's why you see a little, further back finishes for these guys, still in the money, still, top 10, top 20 type finishes. But I don't think they put the work in kind of like they do for the BPT. So I think Jacob Wheeler was really practicing for Norman in the last in the invitational tournament. And I think you're going to see he's figured some things out, and he'll really do well for REDCREST. Another thing is he said, and he's usually, holds true to his word, because he said the last 2 years he was mainly focused on Angler of the Year, but this year he is focused on REDCREST. So we'll see if that pans out. So I picked him. Casey Ashley, local hammer, grew up in the Carolinas. I don't usually go, sometimes people that fish history struggle pretty hard in a tournament, so they're an iffy pick, but I think Casey Ashley has enough restraint and enough poise to not fish history and to go out and fish the conditions, and that's really what it's going to take, is fishing the conditions this week. Huge swings in weather patterns, water temperatures, and then you throw in the whole moon phase thing. We're starting out on a full moon and then waning away. So Casey Ashley, I think, is a good pick. Next two in Group A, Dakota Ebert and Zach Burge. Like, they have just had really good starts to the year. Consistent wins or top 10 finishes. They're just right up there. They're riding the momentum bus. So for me, I have to pick them. They're gonna do well. They both love that Highland Reservoir, Tennessee River Valley style lake fishing, out offshore, ledge, up shallow. They can do it all. So I think they're really solid picks this week for your Group A. Let's move on to Group B. Ott Depot, another guy. He's right up there. Local guy, knows how to fish those areas, especially knows some of these changes, what they go through when the weather pattern's all monkeyed up. He's going to have a better clue than most. So picked Ott Depot. We got Justin Lucas. He does better on the Tennessee River and these Highland reservoirs, so I think he'll be right up there. Threw Randy Howell in. He's been pretty consistent to start the season, and he's due for a good finish on a Highland reservoir. Then we got Michael Neal. Another guy. He's riding that momentum bus, and he can really catch them shallow, deep. Various techniques, and he's another one that fishes the conditions. So I think he'll be a good finish for this week's tournament. And then lastly but not least, Dustin Connell. I like Dustin Connell. I probably pick him more often because of that. I like his attitude. I like his demeanor. But this guy ran. He won 3 events. He won REDCREST. He's another guy that's not afraid to ignore the dock talk. Last year they were telling everybody's like, oh, they're coming to shore, they're coming shallow, and he's like, no, they're not. And he went out and won that tournament against the dam in deep water. So I know he's another one that'll fish the conditions. He's coming off an aggravating tournament down in Florida. Him and Florida don't get along, so I think he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and he's gonna show out for this tournament. Not to mention, he's another one that's just really good at these Highland reservoirs, Tennessee Valley style lakes with current, and knows how to fish the current, knows how to find the current, knows what the those systems up there that he cuts his teeth on are strucken with different water clarities and colors quite often due to them being big river valleys and drainages into the lakes. So he knows the tannic water, the dirty water, the clean water, what to do in each of those scenarios. So he'll be a good solid lock for this tournament. Technique wise, I think we're going to see a lot of things play. I think there'll be there'll be, you know, a power fishing bite, depending on how they're setting up and what depth of water they're setting up. I think a jerk plate's going to play. I think a lipless for sure is going to play. If they're fishing that dirty tannic water, you know, a bladed jig. And I think that bite window, those moving baits windows are going to be small, and it's going to be a timing thing. And the guy that figures that out is going to definitely and utilize that time wisely to get those bites during those windows. He's going to pick up some good ones there. But I really think it's going to be a finesse style tournament. I think we're going to see a lot of drop shots. Maybe even the new hover rig, or hover juggler, or whatever it's called. The little, you can put a swim bait on it or a worm. Gonna see a lot of small swim baits and jig heads, maybe even a hair jig here or there. So I think some more finesse stuff are going to play. Like we said, let's kind of go into the lake conditions. I couldn't find a water temp report, but I'm going to assume it's in that 50-degree range, roughly, just because of the other stuff that's going on. It was warmer, it may be upper 50s. So, but Lake Norman is a almost 50 square mile lake with 520 miles of shoreline. Like, that's a ton. That's a lot of shoreline to cover. That's a lot of area to cover. It's a big lake. It's a river system lake, so several rivers and streams run into and out of it. They've had, you know, fluctuating water levels with just the tremendous amount of weather systems that have just blown through that system over the last couple weeks. So the water's been up, it's going down, it's up, it's down. And like I said, it's going to be a tough tournament. You know, it's a spotted largemouth bass lake. Also got striper out there, some other stuff. So it's a healthy lake, you know, and it's got good forage, shad, crawfish, and things of that nature. So it'll be an interesting tournament. So I'm going to end, I hope these picks help you, and I made this short and sweet because two things. One, I forgot, and I didn't get the video done early enough, and I want to get this uploaded so at least you have a fighting chance between now and tomorrow morning. I also go out and check Major League Fishing's website under the Fantasy Fishing Insider. They have a couple good off-the-wall picks for some local guys that, you know, their analysts are thinking are going to do well in this tournament. It's still a 5-fish tournament for this smaller field, so our chances, this is our chance. Like, if there's, the REDCREST is the one we have the best odds of winning, so 10 anglers to the finish. I really hope it happens for one of us. I'll be cheering everybody on, and good luck in the tournament. Follow along, enjoy.